Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Deer Corner. This is a different time of hunt right here. 38 degrees this morning, and it's really the only time that I come out of the woods around lunchtime. This morning it was pretty calm, but about 10:30 in the morning here, that wind starts coming down the valley. Now I can hunt snow, I can hunt ice, sleet, rain, wind, but when it's raining leaves, and I mean actually raining leaves, it's hard to hunt. It's a very, very hard time to hunt. And I've been a little bit under the weather, so I best come in for a little bit and warm up. I think it's getting up around 50 degrees this afternoon, but that isn't too awful warm. But that's something that I really don't hear a whole lot about, and I'll just bring it up. And basically, there's 5 types of deer habitat, and one of them is big woods. And what I mean by big woods is thousands of acres of woods in one area. Now, 80 years ago, 90 years ago, they pretty much logged it all off. It's hard to come by. And they went back and planted it all in pines and sold it to paper mills, and paper mills kept it up and going. Then the paper mill shut down, and then individuals bought it up, got the wood off of it, cleared it out. But big woods, it's hard to find around here. It's more out west. And the other one is like our Kentucky property. It's river bottom and valleys. And well, let's back up to big woods. I had an opportunity several years ago to go hunt some big woods. And it's totally, they all have their own they're different. And we had to backpack, and I think we went in for 3 days, stayed 2 nights, backpacked 3 days in this wooded area to find a place to hunt. Because deer, they're lazy. Deer are lazy, and they're not dumb, and they're going to find the best way to travel through the big woods too. So we backpacked in there for 3 days to find a place to hunt to where the deer were traveling, because they don't travel through the whole timberline. They don't. You'll find out where they're at, but in big woods, you're going to spend some time in there, back in them woods, to find a place where the deer are traveling. Now, river bottom and valleys, like we have up in Kentucky, our property backs up to the Ohio River. So that's basically a fence line, Ohio River. Now, don't get me wrong, deer will swim. Deer can swim, but they don't like to. And we have about 100 yards of wood line along the river, and then we got bean fields, corn fields, wheat fields beyond that. So it really isn't that difficult to hunt. All you do is you go down, you find wood lines, and you pretty much just set up, because the deer travel up and down the river. And that's actually, to me, the easiest type of hunting there is in deer hunting. And then you get into some of your more difficult deer hunting areas, like partial cover. Now, partial cover, farmland, cropland, pastures, and a lot of that's in your Midwest and, well, Ohio, Indiana, into Illinois, and further west you go. Sometimes to me that's the easiest to hunt, and I call it roadside hunting. Back then we could drive down the road. Now, unlike here, your roads go every which way. I mean, a man must have drank a bunch of moonshine when they laid the roads out down around here. Nothing's straight. But up there, they're pretty well all blocked off, mile, all square. Roads go north, south, east, and west, and it's all squared up. And unless they run into something, they got to go around. But you can pretty much drive down the road and look out across the field, and you'll see islands of timber that are in a little valley or wash area. You'll find what hedgerows is what we call them up there, and they're fence lines with timber in them. And you can drive down the road, and we call it road scouting, and you look out across and you start seeing these islands and things like that that hold deer. And you get out, ask the farmer to hunt it. Of course, today it's kind of hard to do. They won't let you, but back then they allowed you to do it because you were saving their crop. Deer do a lot of damage in crops, so a lot of farmers were glad to have you come out and shoot the deer. But we called it roadside hunting, and we killed a lot of deer, big deer that way. And the other one's swamp, marshes, and wetlands. Now that's getting into some very, very hard hunting. And there again, you could Google it and look at it and find your high island areas that are dry for deer to be bedding on and that. But down in Savannah, some land we had down there before we sold it, when the tide would come in, oh heck, you're in a foot of water. When you scouted that and went down in there to scout, you wore hip boots, and it wore you out. But you have to get in there and find the dry spots, the high spots, and that hold deer. The deer would come, but to see the deer would wade right through that stuff, and it's difficult. It's a difficult time to hunt. It's hard to hunt a swampy area, marshy, wetland area. You get wore out going in, and then you're stomping out, and you get wore out coming out. But now, today, I talked to a good friend of mine, and he uses a double two-man kayak now to go in and out. And his deer, whatever, and gear, he puts in one, and then he gets in the other, and that's how he's been doing it here lately. So evidently, it got a little better than what we did back then. And a lot of your major deer hunting habitat in the United States, if you look at a map, is like what I got right here. Your mountain timber ranges, like I have out here outside the cabin. And it's actually one of the difficult things to hunt, areas to hunt. This back portion on my property here, you got to be a mountain goat to walk up it. You don't walk up it, you walk up sideways. You zigzag to walk up it. And you don't get an ATV or side-by-side to go up and down these hills, you'll roll it over on you. And you get a deer down in there, you manually drag it up, but we got a plastic toboggan now with a 100-foot rope, and we can put the deer on the toboggan, tie the rope to it, and then pull it up. But it's very difficult to hunt these areas here due to the terrain. And like I say, you got to be a mountain goat on some of this back in here. But go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what type of ground you're hunting. And leave some suggestions, some ideas that some other people can use in hunting that terrain you're hunting. There's a whole lot out there and talking about killing deer, shooting deer, but it's not talking about their actual terrain and what they're hunting. And let some other people see what they're hunting, and maybe they'll learn something off of it. But go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and thumbs up, and I'll talk to you later. And just remember, if you're in the woods, be safe. Things can happen, especially right now, and deer season. So you'd rather be safe than sorry, and we'll see you again.